iOS 11 is a big step forward for the iPhone, but many of its biggest features are reserved for the iPad. In our iPad Pro 10.5-inch review, we'd mentioned that it's an excellent tablet that's being held back a little bit by iOS 10. Now that iOS 11 is available, we used it with our iPad Pro 10.5-inch to see if it's indeed the big leap forward that Apple has promised. The first and most important change on the iPad Pro 10.5-inch with iOS 11 is the dock. You can now add up to 13 apps to the dock on this iPad. If you have a 12.9-inch iPad, that number is 15, with 3 more Siri-suggested apps appearing on the right. You can open 2 apps side by side on iOS 11, and you can choose whether you want one app occupying 75% of the screen or whether you want both at 50%. You can even open a third app here, but that hides one of the first 2 apps. At the moment, some apps such as Slack and Comic Flow are a bit buggy and they don't necessarily work as well as you'd like them to with multitasking. This is not really Apple's fault, but then your experience with iOS 11 is going to depend largely on how well developers embrace these iPad-specific features. That brings us to drag and drop, which is one of the best iOS 11 features. It allows you to select a bunch of apps and drop them into one folder quickly, and you can also select multiple photos or messages and drop them into other apps. If you have an iPad Pro, we highly recommend that you purchase a Bluetooth keyboard or a keyboard case. Apple's smart keyboard case became even more useful with iOS 11 thanks to keyboard shortcuts such as Command-Option-D, which opens the dock inside any app. There are lots of keyboard shortcuts to ensure that you don't need to use the touchscreen much, but you can't avoid touching the screen entirely just yet. One thing we missed quite a bit on our iPad Pro 10.5-inch with iOS 11 is the ability to open 2 instances of the same app. Now, some apps such as Safari let you do this, but then others such as Files do not. Now, we were using the iPad Pro 10.5-inch as a replacement for our MacBook Air, and that is why we missed this feature. But overall, we are pleased with the way multitasking works on iOS 11. iOS 11 also has a new Files app which allows you to access iCloud Drive and a new local storage space called On My iPad. This is apart from cloud storage services such as Dropbox, Google Drive, and OneDrive. This app wasn't as useful as we thought it would be. We couldn't add files to the local storage space, but storing to iCloud Drive worked just fine. Copying stuff from Dropbox or Google Drive works, but you can only do this one file at a time. The On My iPad storage space works if you have installed certain apps such as Pages or Keynote. We'd like to be able to create new folders on local storage too, but at the moment that is restricted to iCloud Drive. This is an inconvenience for those who don't use iCloud Drive, and perhaps it will be addressed in the future. Since our primary job is writing, we absolutely love the iPad Pro 10.5-inch. It is much lighter and easier to carry than our MacBook Air. We've been using this iPad Pro to read, to play games, to watch movies, and of course to write. And we've been using this at all places such as cafes, our home, our office, and even during our commutes in the local train. With iOS 11, the iPad Pro 10.5-inch feels like a great device that's optimized for productivity. Now, depending on how you use your laptop, a switch to an iPad Pro could actually be a very reasonable choice. Thanks for watching this video, and if you liked it, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to our channel. You can even check out more videos right here. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Gadgets360.